An LA Galaxy supporters group abandons its role in the Klein Out boycott. Kawhi Leonard has a torn meniscus in his knee, and USC begins to repair the left side of its offensive line. Good morning, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is April 27, 2023. We've got a ton to get to, and I am aware that today is the day for the first round of the NFL draft. We have previews for everybody local that's involved. There is a Rams preview, a Chargers preview, a look at USC's prospects going into the NFL draft, and a look at UCLA's prospects going into the NFL draft. Look on the individual playlists for those teams, for those schools on this channel. Now, if you like what we talk about when it comes to LA sports, clickety-clack the like button, clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means, comment. I have a lot to comment on. It is burning a hole in my stomach. I can't wait to tell you what's on my mind. Now, regarding the scoreboard, Memphis survives. Anthony Davis scored 31 points for the Lakers, but quite frankly, the team did not show up. Memphis 116, Lakers 109 in Game 5 of their best-of-7 series. The Lakers still lead in the series 3-2. They have another chance to close it out in Los Angeles. Game 6 is on Friday night. The Dodgers didn't bother to show up either. They were even worse over in Pittsburgh. Pirates 8-1. Freddie Freeman hits his 4th home run in the first leg of CONCACAF Champions League semifinals. LAFC and the Philadelphia Union played to a 1-1 draw. The second leg of that will take place in LA on Tuesday. Meanwhile, today, the Dodgers are going to be playing at Pittsburgh at 9:30 in the morning. Julio Urias was 3-2 with a 3.33 ERA. Mitch Keller is 2-0 with a 3.64 ERA. One of the big complaints that the supporters groups have with the LA Galaxy and with Chris Klein in particular is that the front office has not been transparent. And as it turns out, neither has one of its largest supporters groups. They haven't been transparent either. The irony abounds, and that is the subject of this morning's special commentary. Yesterday morning, the Angel City Brigade, arguably the largest supporter group for LA Galaxy, announced it would end its participation in a boycott that was in protest of team president Chris Klein. The group released a statement where it asserted it will continue to protest inside the stadium, which by the way sounds absurd on its face, beginning with the next home game, that would be May 6th, against the Colorado Rapids. Now, for those of you who do not follow Major League Soccer, Klein took over the league's most successful franchise about a decade ago. And I will grant you that Major League Soccer is not as big as the NFL, but given the size of MLS compared to the NFL, you could argue that the LA Galaxy are the Dallas Cowboys of American soccer. Numerous trophies. The MVP award of the league is named after a Galaxy player. In addition to that, the Galaxy have an international reputation thanks to the signing of David Beckham. No American soccer team had made a dent on the international scene all the way back going to Pele playing for the New York Cosmos in the 1970s. The Galaxy are arguably the second most important team in the history of American soccer, maybe even more important than the Cosmos. That is how much success that they have had. But since Chris Klein took over, its prestige reputation has pretty much been destroyed. They have not added a trophy, MLS Cup or otherwise, since 2014. Matter of fact, the Klein-guided Galaxy, their tenure earned a wooden spoon. The wooden spoon, by the way, is a prank award given to the team that came in with the worst record in the league. Buck naked last. Ass out last place. Meanwhile, across town, LAFC did win an MLS Cup, and by all objective observance, they have been far more organized, they have been far more competent, and far more ambitious than the Galaxy would care to admit. Finally, Klein was suspended for his role in a cheating scandal, and it's not the first time that a franchise in MLS has got caught in a cheating scandal. For example, Inter Miami was punished. And how did Inter Miami react? They cleaned house in the front office. So you can imagine how perplexing it is to Galaxy fans when instead of a house cleaning, the Galaxy rewarded Chris Klein with a contract extension. That was the last straw for a lot of people, including me. The cheating scandal was significant. I talk a lot about how the Houston Astros cheated the Dodgers out of a World Series. For me to now turn around and support a known cheater is absolutely hypocritical, and that is why I supported the boycott, which started in essence about 103 days ago. The Galaxy didn't believe that the boycott would be legit, but the results made local, national, and international news. Planes wound up circling Dignity Health Sports Park with signs demanding that Klein be removed. Adding fuel to the fire, the Galaxy didn't win for the first 2 months of the year, putting Klein in position for a second wooden spoon. Victoria Block, it is the primary supporters section, located at the north side of the stadium, was absolutely vacant, and that could not be ignored by TV cameras. Klein, while under suspension, meanwhile, knew what was going on, and he assured fans that he would resign if goals were not met. But the goals that he listed were extremely vague and extremely low, as if they would be easy to clear. There was widespread belief then, as a result, that the boycott was working. Widespread belief. But now this detente with the Angel City Brigade has the other supporters groups, the LA Riot Squad, the Galaxians, Galaxy Outlaws, and the Ghost Ultras rightly feeling betrayed. I'm not in a supporters group. I travel too much to be able to watch every Galaxy home match. But I have spent time with supporters of the Galaxy in Portland, Dallas, Houston, Salt Lake City, and Orlando. I like Galaxy supporters. I like them a lot. So much so that this is the first boycott that I've ever joined in my entire 55 years on planet Earth. People, they want you to boycott things all the time. Have you ever noticed that? Oh, there's a transsexual on a beer can. Let's boycott Bud Light. Oh, Chick-fil-A doesn't support same-sex marriage. Let's boycott them. Let's boycott Hobby Lobby. I can't boycott places that I don't purchase from in the first place. I don't drink Bud Light in the first place. It doesn't matter who they put on their can. I drink Guinness. Hobby Lobby? You want me to boycott Hobby Lobby? Do you think I spend a lot of time knitting and quilting? But this was a boycott that I absolutely accepted. My team got caught cheating. My team is losing too much. Chris Klein has to go. So, with anger towards nobody in any of the supporters groups, I have to get this part out of my system. The Angel City Brigade screwed up royally, and it is a major victory for Chris Klein. I invite anybody of the Angel City Brigade to tell me otherwise. I am willing to listen to you. But from where I'm sitting, you done screwed up. First, I have a problem with the way that this was handled by the Angel City Brigade, because one of the complaints that the supporters groups had with the Galaxy front office was a complete lack of transparency. I reached out to other supporters groups. They said the Angel City Brigade never reached out and said, hey guys, the Galaxy contacted us. Do you want to negotiate together? They did no such thing. They negotiated solely on their own in secret. The irony abounds. Absolutely. So now the ACB is every bit as secretive as the front office that they claim to want to change. How does that work exactly? Can somebody explain that to me? Secondly, there's always been this tense relationship between supporters groups, and it's not just in LA. I've been all over the country. Over in Orlando, you have supporters who are like, yeah, the ruckus is amazing. Nobody likes the Iron Lion firm. You hear it in Dallas. Oh, we're the beer guardians. But El Matador, they're not cool. And of course, the other people say vice versa. If I were to guess, Chris Klein and the LA Galaxy exploited those little schisms between the supporters groups, targeted the Angel City Brigade, and appealed to them solely on pride. Pride goeth before a fall. But people make mistakes. It's life. Why target the ACB? Well, in my opinion, the ACB basically is the dominant group in Victoria Block. The LA Riot Squad have a couple of sections at the other end of the stadium. Victoria Block cannot be hidden. It is too big. And if it's vacant, it looks bad on TV. You can angle out the Riot Squad. Unfortunately, if you angle the camera right on the TV, you don't go that high up in the stands. But a standing supporters section that's vacant, oh, that's an eyesore that the Galaxy did not want. So yeah, I believe that's why they targeted the ACB. The idea that the Galaxy now is going to behave any differently due to this detente with the ACB is an absolute fantasy. The boycott was designed on purpose to hit the Galaxy in the pocketbook and thus make Chris Klein toxic. Because ticket sales are only a small part of what the Galaxy make. The big profits for any entertainment industry is in food, is in booze, is in the souvenirs, which you can't sell when the seats aren't filled. And we don't even know what concessions the ACB got. They didn't even get the Galaxy to cut Douglas Costa, for Pete's sakes. So even if the promises that the Galaxy made were all-encompassing and wide-reaching, what makes anybody think Chris Klein is going to hold to those promises? Year after year, failure after failure, all Chris Klein offers is one broken promise after another. And yet right now, despite the assurances that the club is going to be great, the Galaxy are once again pursuing the wooden spoon. I participated in this boycott because I wanted to return faith. The faith that the supporters groups have on their team, I wanted to support that. I wanted to show faith in them. I understood and respected the cause, and I liked the Angel City Brigade. But for the first time in my life, I supported a boycott. I supported it because you asked me to. And then you turned your back on us, including including the non-supporter fan like me. You should have held the line and held to your beliefs. And at the very least, if you weren't going to do that, you owed the other supporters groups the courtesy of a phone call. I invite anybody from the ACB to tell me otherwise. I'm willing to listen. Also with the Galaxy, multiple MLS columnists are asking why the Galaxy did not rid themselves of Douglas Costa. He's played 61 minutes this year, no goals, no assists, one red card. So there is an appetite to get rid of Douglas Costa. Here's a peculiar rite of passage. Teams will almost never level with you about injured players until the season is over. During the playoffs, they'll call it a lower body injury. Then the season ends and they call it syphilis, right? Gee, there was discharge all over the court for game 5. Anyway, look, Kawhi Leonard didn't have syphilis. I'm not trying to hint at that. But having said that, Kawhi Leonard didn't play because his lower body injury was a torn meniscus in his knee. Originally, they called it a sprain. The swelling, because he couldn't play. Now, you would rather have that than the cruciate ligament tear, which he has had in his knee in the past. There's no idea how long he is out, but again, At least a meniscus tear is not as serious as a ruptured ligament. Yesterday, I gave you guys a brief glimpse into the Clippers offseason. ESPN has given some more specifics. Keeping Russell Westbrook is unlikely without other moves to be made. They can match what Mason Plumlee, much easier to keep than Westbrook. They can match what another team offers. But with the new collective bargaining agreement, things get pricey, whether it's Westbrook or Plumlee. Say, for example, the Clippers match an $8 million contract offer for Mason Plumlee. The Clippers are so far over the cap that they would have to pay $55 million more in a luxury tax on that one player alone. So you ask yourself, is Mason Plumlee worth $63 million? Further, in a new CBA, they cannot aggregate contracts in a trade. In other words, try and pile 4 players together to make a lump sum to trade for a superstar. The money Steve Ballmer pays for this team is actually staggering. They have $377 million that are already locked in. That is the second highest in NBA history. The luxury tax bill on the $377 million that is already guaranteed to players, the luxury tax bill is another $175 million. That is how much Steve Ballmer is sinking on this team. And so the question becomes, we were talking about it. What do they keep? What do they get rid of? In 2024, the Clippers will leave Crypto.com Arena for their own arena near SoFi Stadium. By that time, they have to decide if they want to extend an older Kawhi Leonard, an older Paul George, or have a lineup that's, Norman Powell, Terrence Mann, Ivica Zubac, Bones Highland, and Amir Coffey. That is not going to put butts in the seats over at this new arena. And I say that because there is a movement afoot from some sports writers for the Clippers to trade Kawhi Leonard. I am building a case to tell you why that's not going to happen. Once again, Stephen A. Smith doesn't know what he's talking about. Once again, Bill Plaschke doesn't know what he's talking about. You will never get fair value for Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard is a name for a new arena. Lincoln Riley went to work quickly to fill the holes on the Trojans' offensive line. He went back to the transfer portal. USC has landed Emmanuel Pregnon, formerly of Wyoming. He started at right guard for all 11 games last year. But if you recall, USC has 2 holes on the left side of the offensive line. So the question that remains is, does Pregnon move over to play left guard, or does a transfer from Washington State, Jarrett Kingston, shift from right guard to left guard? Stay tuned for that. Will Smith is scheduled to return to the Dodgers on Saturday. He missed about 2 weeks with a concussion. Pitcher Jake Reed was not claimed after being designated for assignment. So LA has sent him to AAA Oklahoma City. We've wondered where Michael Bush plays. Today, or I should say Tuesday, he was a DH. Wednesday, he started at third, which begs the question, is Michael Bush not getting a set position, and does that make him possibly the next Chris Taylor, the guy who plays every day because he gives other players a day off? Just a thought. Dave Roberts suggested it without saying it as much. Quote, I just want him to be in the moment, unquote. Sean McVay, on the eve of the draft, was talking up Rams running back Cam Akers, who he tried to trade away last year. Quote, he was about to have over 500 yards in the last 6 games and really be able to be a bright spot for us. Let's continue to build on that. Confidence is a powerful thing that can compound in the right ways, unquote. I guess. By the way, the Rams might lean against boosting the offensive line in the draft tonight. Multiple NFL coaches say that this offensive line class is extremely weak. Finally, the LA Times wrote a puff piece on transfer wide receivers J. Michael Sturdivant, who came from Cal, and Kyle Ford, who came from USC. Honestly, didn't really learn that much, other than Ford is apparently becoming a vocal team leader with the Bruins, which is okay. I'm just going to be honest with you. It was a puff piece, but I think it stands to reason that both of those receivers are significant upgrades over Casimir Allen and Jake Bobo. Just saying. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. I am dying to hear what you think about the LA Galaxy boycott. And by all means, let me know about what you think of the Clippers' immediate future. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.